Today, we're taking you into the gritty streets of London, where gang life unfolds in the most unsettling ways. Brace yourselves as we explore 35 of the most disturbing gang encounters caught on camera. Stay tuned and watch closely. Things are about to get intense. At first glance, you would think it was an accident unfolding, probably a driver losing control of the wheel. On closer look, it's more than that. An attempted bike hijack from men wearing hooded black outfits is something you'd expect at night or in the early hours of the morning. But during daytime,
what the fuck is...
just one person can't confidently pull that off. It takes a gang. What looked like vandalism was much bigger than that. There was much more unfolding than you'd expect.
Don't let them come anywhere near you. The horrible bastards. Oh my God.
One would expect that the gathering crowd would scare the thieves away. But as they say, there is power in teamwork, even for the wrong reasons.
They've got it open! Mad! Are you doing it?
They didn't stop until they had as much as they wanted. When they had looted to their satisfaction, they drove off with bags of the looted goods. A policeman approached a scene where he saw a man bent beside a bike. You would normally think it's the owner trying to loosen the bike, but that wasn't the case here.
Police!
It was a bike robbery in progress. The member of the gang who was set as a watchman called out to his partner, who was unaware of the presence of the police officer. The officer sprung into action, arresting him on scene.
Police!
The bike owner, who had parked the bike assured of the safety, must have been surprised to find out that his bike was almost stolen by thieves. When some hooded figures walk towards a house, you'd expect them to bust through the doors to steal money, jewelry, or other things. The bike thieves here had other plans in mind.
Got ya!
Why are we calling the police?
Call the police now!
Call the police! How? Call the police!
Yo!
They approached a house while the owners were around and could see them make their attempt at stealing the motorbike that was parked outside the house. You would think that the shouts and threats of calling the police by the occupants would deter the thieves from checking the motorcycle.
Fuck off! Get away! Get away!
Hey, leave!
Leave me alone! Right, oh my God.
But did it? They finally left without the motorcycle, but not without breaking the glasses of one of the cars parked outside the house. A bike lady was seen outside a Chanel store. What seemed like a random wait in front of the store proved to be much more than that. Her other armed gang members appeared from inside the building holding bags from Chanel. 4 of them got on their bikes without interruption.
Les gars, ça c'est un braquage.
The police hadn't arrived on the scene, so they left without bearing any consequence of their actions. If you were to consider the things that could get stolen from a car, you'd imagine on that list that you'd find money, car parts, or maybe the car itself. But would you have considered work tools being on that list too? A team of 2 gang thieves stole from a bus parked beside a busy road. One worked the locks while the other kept watch at a short distance. They put the stolen work tools in their own car parked close by and left. When a young woman stepped out of her house that fateful day, She never thought of the danger that lay waiting for her outside her house. No one does in most cases. A gang of thieves attacked the young woman on her way out of her house. Taking her car was not just enough. They beat her up for struggling with them. Driving the car off with speed, they left the poor woman who ran back towards her house. A lady got into her car and was about to drive off. Before she pulled off the driveway, something unexpected happened. Someone opened the back seat and came inside the car. She ran to safety while the intruder remained in her vehicle. Shortly after, it became obvious what was chasing the intruder. A gang came up to the car and started assaulting the intruder, who appeared to be a rival to them. They kept hitting the car in an attempt to get the intruder out of the vehicle. They didn't stop attacking until the intruder finally ran out of the car. Until the earlier intruder stood up for himself by grabbing a stick, they were not ready to let go. A gang of thieves intruded a house early in the morning. The gang didn't look like they were going to enter the house to attack anyone. Rather, they had other plans. What other plans can a gang of thieves possibly have?
Come up suicide. My postcode is M Mike Kilo 454 Papa Zulu.
Noting the presence of the intruders, the lady living in the house called 911 and gave them her details.
They've got it.
They used their bus to pull the Range Rover in the garage. After pulling it out, one of the gang members entered in the Range Rover and drove it off. Some gangs go to the extreme when trying to access stores to steal from. Anyone would expect that a gang of thieves would break the lock of a store to enter, but these gang didn't do that. What they did was rather shocking. Rather than break the lock like others do, they ran their car into the entrance of a jewelry store to gain access more quickly. With the alarm system blaring, they had just a few seconds to grab the things they could. Store owners' worries used to be finding the perfect lock for their stores that can't warily be picked. But in recent times, gangs are not even patient enough to go through the process of picking locks. Most times no one wants to confront robbers for the fear of being harmed in the process. However, this man would not just sit and watch his neighbors getting robbed and the robbers getting away. What do you think he did? He used his car to stop the robber's car from moving away from the driveway, even when the robbers try to wriggle out another way. Even after the robbers seemed to finally find a way out of the hole, he didn't look like he was going to let them go easily. Everyone believes that nothing could possibly go wrong at a barbershop except for a bad haircut. What happened at this barbershop was much more than a bad haircut. Strange men came in and robbed them. The only reason the men didn't spend their time searching around was because they knew what they were looking for, and as soon as they got that, they were out the door as fast as they had come in. the men originally at the barbershop didn't seem shaken, crimes from gangs have now gotten so common that people are now used to it. 2 cars almost ran into themselves. The occupants of the 2 vehicles got down to check if any damage was done to their car. A harmless act turns out to be a mistake for one party. One party were armed robbers who only used that tactics to get the power party to stop their car and alight. They drove away with the vehicle, leaving the original occupants stranded on the road. 3 strange men came to the front of a house where 2 cars were parked. They had sinister plans, but what could it possibly be? One of them checked out the car, another checked if there was someone at home, while the last one stood guard around. They were still in their act of checking when they suddenly heard movement. They ran off as fast as they had come. After having a field day robbing a store, robbers packed the looted items into their car. It was in broad daylight. What do you think would happen? Nothing happened, actually. Even though there were people around watching everything going on, no one interfered or played hero. The robbers drove off with the goods they stole uninterrupted. A man riding on his bike did not expect the boys beside the road to have sinister plans towards him. What they did was unexpected. The boys began to throw things at the rider. For the rider, it was a battle against balance. Their intention was to make him lose balance and then hijack the bike. The rider was able to successfully avoid their attacks. 2 robbers arrived at a house belonging to a woman. They came with bikes and had helmets on that made their faces hidden from the camera. They obviously came for the BMW parked outside, but they did something else that was quite unexpected. One of them entered the woman's house while the other person stayed on watchguard outside. The one who went inside found the occupants soon enough and forced her to part ways with her car keys. They drove off with the car and immediately stepped out of her house. Another jewelry shop got hit by robbers who made away with as many valuables as they could possibly get.
Come here.
After the operation, the robbers got into their getaway car while screaming instructions at one another. No one got involved with their operations. Another day at Cronext was not just another day as robbers attacked the building on bikes armed with machetes. Little did they know that a 911 call would be made on their behalf that morning.
Someone call the police.
I'm calling them now. Hi, there is an...
The gang of 5 made away with luxury watches. The police were being called at the time the robbers were ready to leave.
Robbery taking place on Fleet Street, men with machetes.
Fleet Street right now, Cronext.
Yeah, will do.
Judging from the time it would take the police to get there, you can imagine the low chances of police catching up with them there. This architect came out of a store and found the most unexpected incident unfolding to him. Imagine coming out of a store and finding out that you and your bike are being surrounded by some strange men on bikes. That's exactly the experience of this architect. Despite being surrounded, he was not going to let the gang get away with his precious bike on a platter of gold. A little assistance from passers-by would have gone a long way here, but none came. Shopping malls probably experience the wildest things getting stolen, including carts full of detergents. You won't imagine what was being stolen here.
Look at all that.
While the suspects were loading their vehicles with the stolen items, people around made calls to 911 without contact. Any attempt at dragging the items from the men could lead to possible battery. Since the passers-by won't make contact and the police were nowhere in view, the cars got away with the items. Sometimes Nemesis catches up with people faster than we would admit. A phone thief was trying to run away thinking he had gotten away with it. He wasn't expecting what happened next to him. When a woman comes to assist in keeping the thief pinned down, the first thing that would cross anyone's mind would be to ask what strength the woman had to stop the thief from running. Now you have your answer. More people came to join in. Keeping the more people stepping up to help in scenes like this will curb the act better. A phone store got robbed when a gang entered, but what the gang did was unexpected. Although nobody confronted them, one of them aggressively took several items from the shelves. The others joined in and started grabbing items from the shelves and counters. With such violence being displayed, would you have tried to play hero? I guess not. The workers at the store didn't try either. The group quickly exits the store, with the perpetrator holding the stolen goods. A drive back home from work on a usual day also meant that this couple got to encounter something rather strange.
Oh my God.
Oh my, don't go, John.
I'm not going.
Because that car's going to pull out, John. Don't
Shut
go.
up, shut
You
up.
might have guns.
Oh, they got it.
People gathered close to watch the shops being looted. However, the robbers were armed to the teeth. Any attempt to stop them may have undesirable results.
Oh, you ain't going with that.
Can't go anywhere. Just stop the car. Look, look at cracks and everything. Oh my fucking...
They took the looted goods and went away. Parking your car on a quiet road and close to houses used to mean safety for your car. However, that was not the case here. The thieves took advantage of the quietness of the road to work on some cars. Although it takes a long time to remove the body parts of a car, but since there was assurance of no one walking into them, there was no reason for them to be hasty. Imagine what the owner's first reaction would be when they come out to see their car. A bicycle owner whose bicycle must have been stolen too many times decided to take extra measures in ensuring the safety of their bicycle. The measures he took even surprised robbers.
Isso é Londres, isso é Londres, não brinca não, aí.
But when thieves are not able to steal your property, they resort to destroying it.
Desataca novamente, não deu conta.
The bicycle owner must have seen these minutes later and be so proud of the lock used. Armed robbers went to rob a store, but what happened next shocked them. When store owners deploy radical measures, armed robbers are left confused. The armed robbers already can tell that the store was not going to be an easy robbery as usual. Did that make them change their mind? And when the community stands in support of a store owner, armed robbers are put to chase. In the end, everyone wins except the robbers. An alarming trend, however, is the measure people resort to when theft happens right in front of them. You'd expect people to try to call the police. If they are a large number, you would expect confronting the thieves. But guess instead what most people choose. Thieves made away with a bicycle that was parked a few meters away from a lot of people. But sadly, they get away with this because people bring out their phones instead of stopping the unarmed gang. A busy banking day at Yodashire Bank turned sour when armed robbers busted into the banking halls. Even the toughest security man is left with no choice but to either flee or obey.
Fucking hell.
By the time the robbers would leave without opposition, they had both had filled with stolen goodies.
Fucking hell.
For the gang, it was just another day of doing what they enjoy doing. To the bank workers and affected customers, it was a day to not remember. Getting access to a locked store is no longer a business of picking locks, but busting the door with the rear of a car. A store whose owners probably believe that it is as safe as it can possibly be. But was it really safe? Passers-by watched the incident unfold, unable to help or interrupt for the fear of the armed gang. They made away with as much as they wanted without interruption. After robbing a couple of all that they have, robbers still won't let the couple go without an assault. Do you think it's because they struggled with the robbers? Or there's more to it than just robbery? Even the lady was not spared in any way. She was beaten even more than the man.
Let go, otherwise I'll call police!
The robbers took off when a neighbor threatened to call the police. These bike owners used the safest lock on their bike, but guess what these thieves did? Even the safest bike locks still do not stand the chance when an angle grinding machine is used on it. These robbers use an angle grinding machine to disarm the lock that keeps a bike secured. Although it still took a while before the gang safely disarmed the lock, it would have been otherwise impossible without the machine. Passers-by watched them steal the bike without any confrontations. A gang entered a store like normal customers, but what they ended up doing was surprising. They picked things like Coke, sweets, and other snacks, and made their way out without paying even before the store owner could leave the counter. For provision stores, this is sometimes a common incident, especially for the ones who have their items close to the door. At one glance, you'd think they are random mechanics jacking up a car they want to repair, but what they were doing was very different from that. They were jacking up the vehicle to remove a part of the car that they dropped in their own car before they left the scene. Since it was a quiet street, no one even knew that they were up to something sinister. Some boys approached some parked bikes like they owned them, but a passerby wasn't deceived. He knew that they were not as innocent as they looked.
Hey boys, up to no good? Up to some good stuff, yeah?
His confrontation made the boys drop the bike and run. something they would not have done if they were the true owner of the bikes.
Wow. Wow, I feel powerful. Did I just stop them?
A passerby saved the day and ensured those boys didn't go with the bikes.